Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his morning coffee when the alien message came through. He sat in his chair on the bridge of the UES Liberty, watching the stars through the big front window. The Liberty was humanity's newest spaceship built for exploring the galaxy and meeting new species. The main screen suddenly lit up with bright colors. A strange voice filled the bridge, speaking through the computer that translated alien languages. The voice belonged to Admiral Zextara of the Vorthan Galactic Empire. She appeared on the screen, looking like a giant insect made of blue crystal. Her body sparkled under harsh lights and her eyes glowed red. "Weak humans," the Admiral said in a cold voice. "Your kind has been judged. You are not good enough to travel in space by yourselves. The Galactic Council has decided this. You must obey us now, or we will destroy all your ships. We challenge your strongest vessels to fight us at the Nexus Point. You have 7 days to answer us." Jake Morrison set down his coffee cup and looked around the bridge. His crew was trying not to laugh. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez sat at the communications station. She covered her mouth with her hand, but her eyes were smiling. She had been in the Space Navy for 5 years and had never heard anything so silly. "Did she just call us weak, Captain?" Amy asked. Commander Pete Sullivan was the ship's weapons officer. He leaned back in his chair and grinned. 7 days to get ready for a fight? That's very nice of them. Jake looked at the data that came with the alien message. The information made him whistle softly. The Vorthan Empire controlled more than 200 star systems. They had weapons that could crack moons in half. Their ships were grown like plants instead of built like machines. They had never lost a space battle in 300 years. "Dr. Chang," Jake said to his science officer, "what do you think about these aliens?" Dr. Lisa Chang was a smart woman who had studied alien technology for 10 years. She pulled up pictures of Vorthan ships on her computer. The ships looked like giant sea creatures with glowing spots all over them. "Their ships are very impressive, Captain," she said. "But they fight the same way they have for hundreds of years. They use energy shields and plasma guns. They always fly in the same patterns. They never change their methods." "And we have been changing our methods for about 6 months," Jake said with a smile. He was talking about humanity's new discoveries. Human scientists had learned how to use quantum physics to make ships do impossible things. They could make a ship exist in many places at once. They could make it disappear and reappear somewhere else. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Jake opened a communication channel to Earth. Admiral Kate Henderson appeared on the screen. She was an older woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She had been fighting in space for 30 years, but she looked more amused than worried. "Jake," she said before he could speak, "I guess you saw the alien challenge." "Yes, Admiral." "I want permission to accept their challenge." Admiral Henderson smiled. "Permission granted. Take the Liberty and work with Captain Alex Turner on the Defiance and Captain Maria Santos on the horizon. Show these aliens what humans can do." Jake nodded. "We will make them regret challenging us." Just remember," the Admiral said, "we are not trying to start a war. We want to teach them a lesson they will never forget." After the call ended, Jake turned to his crew. "Amy, send a message to Captains Turner and Santos. Tell them to meet us at the Nexus Point in 6 days." "Yes, sir," Amy replied, her fingers dancing over her controls. Commander Sullivan was studying the alien ship designs. "Captain, these Vorthan vessels are huge. Each one is 3 times bigger than our ships. They have enough firepower to destroy a small planet." "Size is not everything, Pete," Jake said. "Remember what happened to the dinosaurs." Dr. Chang was running calculations on her computer. "Captain, I have been thinking about their challenge. They want us to meet them at the Nexus Point. That is, neutral space where different alien races settle their fights. It has been used for battles for thousands of years." "What makes it special?" Jake asked. "It is a huge field of asteroids," Dr. Chang explained. "The rocks are full of rare metals that interfere with most sensors. Ships have to get close to fight effectively. It is perfect for old-style combat, but not perfect for new-style combat," Jake said with a grin. Lieutenant Rodriguez looked up from her station. Captain, I'm getting reports from Earth. The news networks are going crazy about this challenge. Some people are scared, but most are excited. They think it will be fun to watch. Jake laughed. Humans have always enjoyed a good show. The next few days passed quickly. The Liberty traveled through space toward the Nexus Point, meeting with the Defiance and Horizon along the way. The three ships formed a small fleet, but they looked tiny compared to what was waiting for them. When they arrived at the Nexus Point, Jake saw the Vorthan fleet for the first time. 12 massive ships floated in perfect formation. Each ship was alive with skin that pulsed with colored lights. They looked like giant jellyfish swimming through space, but Jake knew they were the most dangerous warships in the galaxy. Well, Commander Sullivan said, they certainly know how to make an entrance. Captain Alex Turner's voice came over the radio from the Defiance. Jake, are you seeing this? Those ships are enormous. I see them, Alex, Jake replied. Maria, what do you think? Captain Maria Santos answered from the horizon. They look impressive, but I think they are about to learn something new about human engineering. The alien admiral's voice boomed across all radio frequencies. Humans, we see only 3 of your ships. Do you give up now, or do you want us to show you how hopeless this fight is? Jake opened a channel to speak to all the ships in the area. Admiral Zextara, we accept your challenge. But I want to suggest a change to make this more interesting. Speak, human. Instead of fighting until someone is destroyed, let's play. Capture the flag. The first side to capture the other side's command ship wins. It will be more fun that way. The alien admiral made a sound like breaking glass. You want to play games to save your lives? Very well, we will play your human games before we take your ships. Jake smiled at his crew. Everyone ready? Amy Rodriguez checked her instruments. Quantum systems are working perfectly, Captain. Dr. Chang nodded. All our new technology is running smoothly. Commander Sullivan cracked his knuckles. I have been waiting for this fight my whole life. Jake looked out at the alien fleet. The Vorthans thought they were about to crush 3 small human ships. They had no idea that humanity had learned to break the laws of physics. In a few minutes, the most powerful empire in the galaxy was going to discover that humans did not play by the same rules as everyone else. All right. Everyone, Jake said. Let us show them what happens when you challenge humanity to a fair fight. The battle was about to begin, and Jake Morrison could hardly wait to see the look on the alien admiral's face when she realized that human ships could do things that should be impossible. The Vorthan Empire was about to learn that when humans laugh, it usually means someone is about to have a very bad day. Outside the ship, space was quiet and peaceful. But in a few moments, it would be filled with the sound of human laughter echoing across the stars, as 3 small ships taught the galaxy's greatest empire that size and power meant nothing when facing human creativity and determination. The age of human expansion into the galaxy was about to begin with the greatest practical joke in the history of space warfare. The Nexus Point was a strange place in space where many alien races had fought for thousands of years. It was filled with floating rocks as big as mountains, and the rocks contained metals that made it hard for ships to see each other from far away. This meant that battles here were always up close and personal. The Vorthan fleet arrived exactly as everyone expected them to. 12 enormous ships moved into perfect battle formation, each one a kilometer long. Their living hulls pulsed with blue and green lights that made them look like giant sea creatures swimming through space. Energy fields surrounded each ship, making the space around them shimmer like water. Captain Jake Morrison watched from the Liberty's bridge as the alien vessels took their positions. Each Vorthan ship was more than twice as long as all 3 human ships put together. They bristled with organic weapons that looked like they had grown from the ships themselves. The weapons moved and twisted like living things, tracking the human ships with predatory interest. Those are some impressive ships, said Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez, staring at the display. They look like they could fight a whole planet and win. They probably could, agreed Commander Pete Sullivan. Good thing we are not planning to fight them the normal way. The three human ships looked tiny next to the alien fleet. The Liberty, Defiance, and Horizon were each only 400 meters long. To anyone watching, it would look like 3 fishing boats facing off against 12 battleships. The size difference was almost comical. Captain Alex Turner's voice came over the radio from the Defiance. Jake, are you getting a good look at this display of alien superiority? Hard to miss it, Jake replied. Maria, is your team ready for what we planned? Captain Maria Santos answered from the Horizon, and Jake could hear excitement in her voice. My engineering team says all systems are working perfectly. Dr. Williams reports that our new quantum drives are performing even better than we hoped. Dr. Ben Williams was humanity's best quantum physicist. He had spent the last 6 months developing technology that would make human ships nearly impossible to track or target. The breakthrough had come from studying quantum entanglement on a very large scale. This allowed ships to exist in multiple probability states at the same time. In simple terms, a ship could be in several different places at once. Remember, Jake said to both captains, we are not here to destroy their ships. We are here to embarrass them so badly that they will never want to challenge another human vessel again. The Vorthan Admiral's voice boomed across all radio frequencies. Her tone was full of arrogance and contempt. Humans, we can only detect 3 of your vessels. Do you surrender now, or shall we show you how hopeless your situation is? Jake opened a channel that all the ships could hear. Admiral Zextara, we accept your challenge. However, we want to suggest a small change to make this more interesting. For everyone, speak your words, primitive creature. Instead of a battle where we try to destroy each other, let's make this a capture the flag game. The first side to capture the other side's command vessel wins. It will be more sporting that way and much more fun to watch. The alien admiral made a sound like crystal breaking. Jake could almost see her thinking about this proposal. The Vorthans were proud warriors, but they were also practical. A capture mission would be easier than total destruction, and it would still prove their superiority. You seek to preserve your pathetic lives through children's games, the Admiral finally said. Very well. We will play your human games before we claim your vessels as prizes. Jake smiled at his crew. Quantum field generators ready? Dr. Lisa Shang checked her instruments. All quantum systems are operating at full capacity, Captain. We can maintain 17 different dimensional states simultaneously. Excellent. Pete, are our new boarding pods ready? Commander Sullivan nodded enthusiastically. The pods are loaded and ready, sir. Sergeant Kevin Davis and his Marine team are eager to try out the new phase technology. The phase technology was perhaps humanity's most impressive achievement. The boarding pods could pass through solid matter while carrying passengers. Marines could appear inside enemy ships without having to break through the hull first. It was like magic, except it was really just very advanced science. Lieutenant Rodriguez was monitoring alien communications. Captain, the Vorthans are discussing strategy on their private channels. They seem confident that their superior numbers and firepower will give them an easy victory. What are they saying exactly? Jake asked. They are planning to surround us and use their plasma weapons to disable our engines. Then they will board our ships with their warrior troops. They expect the whole battle to last than 10 minutes. Dr. Chang looked up from her calculations. Captain, I have been analyzing their ship designs. The Vorthans have been using the same technology for centuries. Their ships are biological marvels, but they are designed to fight enemies that exist in normal space and time. And we have decided not to exist in normal space and time, Jake said with a grin. Captain Turner's voice crackled over the radio. Jake, my crew is getting excited. We have never had a chance to test our quantum capabilities in real combat. Just remember, Jake replied, we want to capture their command ship without hurting anyone. This is supposed to be a demonstration, not a massacre. Captain Santos joined the conversation. My engineering team has been working on some special modifications to our quantum fields. We should be able to create some very interesting visual effects. Visual effects? Jake asked. Let's just say that when we start phase shifting, it is going to look very impressive. The aliens will not know what to think. Jake looked out at the Vorthan fleet. The alien ships had finished their preparations and were now waiting for the battle to begin. Their organic weapons were glowing with stored energy, and their bio-armor was shifting colors as it prepared for combat. "All ships," Jake announced. "Final systems check." "Liberty systems green," reported Dr. Chang. "Defiance ready for action," said Captain Turner. "Horizon standing by," confirmed Captain Santos. The Vorthan Admiral's voice filled space once again. "Humans, your time for preparation has ended. We will now demonstrate why the Galactic Empire has never lost a battle. Prepare to be boarded, and your ships claimed as trophies." Jake opened a channel to his fellow captains. "Gentlemen and ladies, are you ready to show the galaxy what human engineering can accomplish?" "Ready and waiting," Turner replied. "Let's give them a show they will never forget," Santos added. Jake turned to his crew. "Amy, open a channel to the Vorthan fleet." "Channel open, Captain." "Admiral Zextara, this is Captain Morrison. Before we begin, I want to warn you that human tactics might seem strange to you. Please do not be alarmed when reality starts behaving in unexpected ways." The alien admiral's laugh was like ice cracking. "Human arrogance will be your downfall. Begin your futile resistance." Jake looked at his crew one more time. Amy Rodriguez was smiling as she prepared the quantum communication systems. Commander Sullivan was checking his tactical displays with the enthusiasm of a child on Christmas morning. Dr. Chung was making final adjustments to the quantum field generators, her eyes bright with scientific curiosity. "All right, everyone," Jake said quietly. "Let's show them what happens when you challenge humanity to a fair fight." He pressed a button on his command chair. Throughout the 3 human ships, quantum field generators hummed to life. The laws of physics were about to get very confused, and the Vorthan Empire was about to learn that humans had some very interesting ideas about how reality should work. The battle was about to begin, and Jake Morrison could hardly wait to see. The expressions on alien faces when they realized that human ships could be in multiple places at the same time. The galaxy's most powerful empire was about to discover that when humans prepare for battle, they do not just get ready to fight. They get ready to rewrite the rules of warfare itself. The battle began exactly as the Vorthans expected it would. Their 12 massive bioships opened fire with plasma weapons that glowed like small suns. The energy beams were hot enough to melt asteroids and strong enough to crack moons in half. Their targeting computers locked onto the 3 human ships with the precision of hungry predators. Admiral Zextara watched from her command center as her fleet unleashed enough firepower to destroy a small city. The plasma cascades streaked across space in brilliant streams of destruction, each one aimed perfectly at a human vessel. She smiled with satisfaction, knowing that this pathetic challenge would be over in seconds. Then something impossible happened. The human ships were not there anymore. The plasma beams passed through empty space where the Liberty, Defiance, and Horizon had been floating just moments before. The Vorthan weapons struck nothing but vacuum, their deadly energy dissipating harmlessly into the darkness. "Where did they go?" demanded Admiral Zextara, her crystalline features showing confusion for the first time in decades. "Her weapons." Officer, a large creature with 6 arms and compound eyes, frantically worked his controls. "Admiral, our sensors show conflicting data. The human ships appear to be in 17 different locations simultaneously." "That is impossible," the Admiral snapped. "Matter cannot exist in multiple states at this scale." "Aboard the Liberty, Lieutenant." Amy Rodriguez was monitoring the quantum field generators with growing excitement. "Quantum tunnel holding steady, Captain. We are existing in 17 different dimensional states at the same time." Captain Jake Morrison watched the tactical display with amazement. The human ships had become ghost vessels, flickering in and out of reality like mirages. Sometimes they were visible, sometimes they were not, and occasionally they appeared in multiple locations at once. The Vorthan weapons passed through them harmlessly because they were shooting at probability shadows instead of actual ships. "This is incredible," breathed Dr. Lisa Chang. The quantum field interactions are stable across all dimensional states. We are literally existing in several different realities at the same time. From the Vorthan perspective, the battle had become a nightmare. Their targeting systems could not maintain locks on enemies that technically existed and did not exist simultaneously. Their sensors showed human ships everywhere and nowhere. Their weapons, designed to destroy solid matter, were useless against targets that existed in quantum superposition. "This is impossible," Admiral Zextara hissed over the communication channel. "Matter cannot behave this way according to the laws of physics." Dr. Chang's voice crackled across the channel, barely containing her scientific glee. "Admiral, you are absolutely correct according to classical physics. Fortunately, we stopped paying attention to classical physics about 6 months ago." The Vorthan fleet began firing in all directions, their perfect formation breaking apart as panic set in. Their bioships started overheating as their adaptive armor tried to adjust to weapons that struck from impossible angles. The living hulls pulsed with confused bioluminescent patterns as they attempted to process threats that should not exist. Commander Pete Sullivan was having the time of his life. "Captain, their formation is completely broken. They are shooting at shadows and hitting each other." "Excellent," Jake replied. "Alex, are you ready for Phase 2? Captain Alex Turner's voice came from the Defiance, which was currently existing in 9 different locations around the Vorthan flagship. "Ready and waiting, Jake. This is the most fun I have had in years." "Maria, what is your status?" Captain Maria Santos answered from the horizon, her ship flickering in and out of normal space like a strobe light. "All systems nominal." "My crew is amazed that this actually works. Dr. Williams is practically dancing with joy." Dr. Ben Williams, the quantum physicist responsible for this breakthrough, was indeed celebrating. His voice came over the radio with pure excitement. "The quantum field harmonics are exceeding all theoretical predictions. We are actually teaching the universe new physics." The Vorthan ships were now firing wildly in all directions. Their plasma weapons lit up space with brilliant colors, but every shot missed its target. The human ships would appear, fire a few shots, and then vanish before the return fire could reach them. It was like fighting ghosts that could shoot back. "Admiral," reported the Vorthan tactical officer, "we have fired over 3,000 plasma bursts and have not hit a single human vessel." Admiral Zexthara rage was building to dangerous levels. "How is this possible? Our weapon systems are perfect. Our targeting computers have never failed." "Your weapons and computers are fine," Jake Morrison's voice came over the communication channel. "The problem is that you are trying to hit targets that exist in quantum superposition. It is like trying to shoot a reflection in water." Suddenly, the Defiance materialized directly above the Vorthan flagship. Captain Turner had used quantum tunneling to bypass 3 dimensions and appear inside the enemy's defensive perimeter. The human ship was so close that its shadow fell across the alien vessel's command section. "Surprise visit," Turner announced cheerfully as he deployed his boarding pods. The boarding pods were marvels of human engineering. They did not need to penetrate the alien hulls because they could phase through them while carrying passengers. The pods simply appeared inside the Vorthan ships. Bypassing all armor and shields, Sergeant Kevin Davis found himself standing in what appeared to be the Vorthan flagship's command center. The alien warriors present massive beings with chitinous armor and energy weapons, could only stare in shock as the human soldier materialized in the center of their most secure location. "Good morning," Davis said politely, as if he had just walked through a door instead of phasing through several layers of living armor. "I hope you do not mind me dropping in." The Vorthan warriors raised their weapons, but Davis was already moving. He did not fight them. Instead, he simply activated his personal quantum field generator and stepped sideways through reality. The alien weapons fired at empty air while Davis reappeared on the other side of the room. "This is Sergeant Davis," his voice crackled over the radio. "I am standing in what appears to be their main command center. The locals seem very confused about how I got here." "Understandable," Jake replied. "Are you ready to plant our flag?" "Ready and waiting, sir." Davis pulled out a small banner that Read Humanity Says Hello and carefully placed it on Admiral Zexthara's command console. The alien admiral stared at the flag as if it were a poisonous snake. You mocked the Galactic Empire, she said, her voice shaking with rage. Not mocking, Davis replied respectfully. Just introducing ourselves properly? Would you prefer the flag in a different location? Meanwhile, similar scenes were playing out throughout the Vorthan fleet. Human Marines were appearing inside sealed chambers, waving politely, planting flags, and then phasing back out of normal spacetime. The alien crews could do nothing but watch in bewilderment as their most secure areas were invaded by soldiers who could walk through walls. Corporal Jenny Martinez found herself in an alien engine room surrounded by biomechanical systems that pulsed with organic life. The room was filled with what looked like giant organs connected to mechanical components. This is actually pretty cool, she reported to her squad leader. Their whole ship is alive. It is like being inside a whale that shoots lasers. The Vorthan crew members working in the engine room backed away from her in terror. They had never seen anything like this human ability to appear and disappear at will. Their weapons were useless against an enemy who could step sideways through dimensions. Do not be afraid, Martinez said gently. I am just here to plant this flag and say hello. She placed her banner on a control panel and gave the aliens a friendly wave before phasing back out of their reality. Admiral Zexthara's voice boomed across all frequencies, filled with frustration and growing fear. This is not warfare. This is some form of elaborate magic. No magic, Captain Santos interjected, her voice carrying the patient tone of a teacher explaining basic concepts to a confused student. This is applied quantum mechanics. Your ships are designed to fight enemies that exist in normal spacetime. We have decided to exist in several different spacetimes simultaneously. The Vorthan admiral was now facing a crisis unlike anything in the Empire's military history. Her fleet was being systematically invaded by soldiers who could appear anywhere at any time. Her weapons were useless against enemies who existed in multiple realities. Her ships, the pride of the Galactic Empire, were being treated like a playground by 3 small human vessels. Admiral Zexthara, Jake Morrison's voice came over the communication channel. I believe we have successfully placed flags on all 12 of your vessels. According to the terms you agreed to, this means we have captured your entire fleet. The Admiral's crystalline features showed a mixture of rage, confusion, and something that might have been respect. Your technology is beyond our understanding. How do you manipulate quantum states at this scale? Trade secret, Jake replied with obvious amusement. But I will tell you what. Since you are clearly not prepared to fight humans using conventional methods, why do not we discuss a different kind of relationship? Space around the Nexus Point had become eerily quiet. The Vorthan ships had stopped firing. Admiral Zexthara stared at the small flag on her command console. The words "Humanity Says Hello" seemed to mock everything she had believed about warfare and the natural order of the galaxy. Her crystalline features twisted with a mixture of rage and complete bewilderment. In 300 years of military service, she had never encountered anything like this. This is not warfare, she repeated, her voice echoing through the communication channels. This is some form of elaborate deception or trickery. No deception, Captain Maria Santos replied from the horizon, her voice carrying the patient tone of a teacher explaining simple math to a confused child. This is applied quantum mechanics. Your ships are designed to fight enemies that exist in normal spacetime. We have decided to exist in several different spacetimes at the same time. The Admiral's tactical officer was frantically working his controls, trying to make sense of the sensor readings. Admiral, our instruments show that the human vessels are occupying multiple dimensional coordinates simultaneously. According to our science, this should be impossible for objects of this size. According to your science, Dr. Lisa Shang's voice came over the radio, many things should be impossible. But human science tends to focus on making impossible things work anyway. Aboard the Vorthan flagship, Sergeant Kevin Davis was having a pleasant conversation with the alien bridge crew. The massive warriors with their chitinous armor and multiple arms were keeping their distance, unsure how to deal with an enemy who could simply appear in their most secure areas. "I understand this is probably confusing for you," Davis said politely to Admiral Zextara. "My orders are to be respectful and explain what is happening. Would you like me to demonstrate how our phase technology works?" The Admiral's eyes glowed brighter with anger. "You mock the greatest fleet in the galaxy." "Not mocking at all," Davis replied earnestly. "We are just introducing ourselves. Humans like to make a good first impression." He gestured to the flag on her console. "Would you prefer a different greeting? We could write something in your language instead." Throughout the Vorthan fleet, similar conversations were taking place. Human Marines had successfully boarded all 12 ships using their quantum phase technology. They appeared in engine rooms, command centers, weapons bays, and even private quarters. The aliens could do nothing but watch as they're supposedly impregnable. Vessels were invaded by soldiers who treated solid matter as a minor inconvenience. Corporal Jenny Martinez was explaining quantum physics to a group of confused Vorthan engineers. "You see," she said, pointing to the throbbing biomechanical systems around them, "your ships exist in what we call normal space. But our technology lets us exist in what we call expanded space. It is like the difference between walking on a road and flying over it." One of the Vorthan engineers, a creature with 6 arms and compound eyes, spoke in halting universal language. "How do you make large objects exist in quantum superposition? Our scientists say this is impossible." "Your scientists are probably very smart," Martinez replied cheerfully. "But they have been thinking inside the same box for too long. Humans are really good at thinking outside boxes. Sometimes we think so far outside the box that we forget where the box was." Captain Jake Morrison was monitoring the boarding operations from the Liberty's bridge. His ship was currently existing in 11 different dimensional states, making it visible to the Vorthans as a flickering ghost that appeared and disappeared at random intervals. "Status report," he requested. "All boarding teams have successfully planted flags on their target vessels," reported Commander Pete Sullivan. "No resistance encountered." The aliens seemed too confused to fight back effectively. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez was listening to Vorthan communications. "Captain, their fleet? Commanders are arguing about what to do next. Some want to retreat, others want to surrender, and a few are suggesting that we might be using some kind of advanced holographic technology. Holograms that can plant physical flags?" Jake asked with amusement. "Apparently they are having trouble accepting that we can actually manipulate quantum physics on this scale," Amy replied. "They keep looking for explanations that fit their understanding of reality." Dr. Chung looked up from her science station. "Captain, I am detecting massive stress fractures in their adaptive armor systems. Their bioships are trying to adapt to threats they cannot understand, and it is causing system failures throughout their fleet." "Are they in danger?" Jake asked. Despite the competitive nature of the challenge, he had no desire to actually harm the aliens. "No immediate danger," Dr. Chang assured him. "But their ships are becoming increasingly confused. The bio-armor is trying to adapt to weapons that strike from impossible angles and to threats that exist in multiple dimensions. It is like trying to solve a puzzle when half the pieces keep changing shape." Captain Alex Turner's voice came over the radio from the Defiance. "Jake, you should hear what my boarding team is reporting. The aliens are asking for technical manuals on quantum physics. They want to understand how we are doing this." "Are we sharing information?" Jake asked. "Sergeant Williams is giving them a basic lecture on quantum mechanics," Turner replied with obvious amusement. "He says they are very polite students, although they seem to have trouble believing that humans developed this technology in only 6 months. Meanwhile, inside the Vorthan flagship, Sergeant Davis was explaining human military philosophy to Admiral Zextara. "The thing about humans," he said conversationally, "is that we do not like to be told what we cannot do. When someone says something is impossible, we tend to take that as a personal challenge." The Admiral listened despite herself. Your species developed faster than light quantum manipulation in mere months. Most civilizations require centuries to achieve such breakthroughs. We had motivation, Davis explained. Earth's population hit 12 billion people, and we needed to expand to the stars quickly. Our scientists were told to find a way around the normal rules of physics. So they did. You simply ignored the fundamental laws of reality? Not ignored, Davis corrected. We asked our physicists to find ways around the rules instead of working within them. Turns out the universe is much more flexible than most people think. Dr. Ben Williams was broadcasting a live lecture on quantum physics to all the Vorthan ships. His enthusiasm for the subject was infectious, even through the universal translators. The key insight, he explained, was realizing that quantum superposition is not limited by size, only by observation. If you can prevent a system from being observed in a classical sense, you can maintain superposition indefinitely. Our ships exist in multiple quantum states because we have learned to hide them from reality itself. One of the Vorthan science officers asked, "But how do you maintain cohesion across multiple dimensional states?" "Quantum entanglement," Dr. Williams replied happily. Every particle in our ships is entangled with corresponding particles in all other dimensional states. It is like having identical twins that share the same thoughts, except we have 17 identical ships that share the same existence. Back on the Liberty, Jake Morrison was receiving reports from all three ships. The mission had been a complete success. Every Vorthan vessel had been boarded and flagged without a single casualty on either side. The mighty Galactic Empire's fleet had been defeated by what amounted to an elaborate game of hide-and-seek. "Admiral Zexthara," Jake said over the open communication channel, "according to the rules you agreed to, we have successfully captured all 12 of your vessels. Do you concede this challenge?" The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice had lost much of its arrogance. "Captain Morrison, your species has demonstrated capabilities that we did not know were possible. Our defeat is comprehensive? We prefer to think of it as a learning experience for everyone involved," Jake replied diplomatically. "Your bioships are truly impressive works of engineering. We would be interested in discussing technological exchanges." "You would share your quantum technology?" the Admiral asked, surprised. "We might share some basic principles," Jake said carefully, "in exchange for learning about your bioengineering techniques. Cooperation tends to work better than conquest." Lieutenant Rodriguez looked up from her station. "Captain, we are receiving communications requests from 47 different alien governments. Word about this engagement is spreading fast." Commander Sullivan grinned. "I bet every species in the galaxy wants to know about the humans who made the Vorthan Empire surrender without firing a shot." "Technically, we fired about 12,000 shots," Jake corrected. "We just fired them through dimensional barriers, so they did not hit anything." Dr. Chang raised an eyebrow. "Why did we fire shots if we were not trying to hit anything?" "Because it looked cool," Sullivan replied with a shrug. "And because we wanted to test our multi-dimensional targeting systems." Admiral Zexthara's voice came over the channel again. "Captain Morrison, this engagement has been educational. The Galactic Council will want to hear about your capabilities." "We would be happy to meet with the Galactic Council," Jake replied. "Humanity is always interested in making new friends." "Friends?" the Admiral repeated, as if the word was foreign to her. "The Vorthan Empire does not make friends. We make subjects or enemies." 3 days after the battle that was not really a battle, the Nexus Point had become the most interesting place in the galaxy. Ships from dozens of different alien species had arrived to see the human vessels that had defeated the mighty Vorthan Empire without destroying a single enemy ship. Captain Jake Morrison sat in the Liberty's conference room across from Admiral Zexthara. The alien leader looked very different from when she had first challenged humanity. Her crystalline features had lost their arrogant shine and were now filled with curiosity and something that might have been respect. "Your species has achieved in decades what most civilizations require thousands of years to develop," she admitted, her voice much quieter than before. The Galactic Council believed you were primitive because you still use metal projectile weapons and chemical rocket engines. Jake poured coffee from a thermal container, the simple human action somehow making the conversation feel more normal despite the incredible circumstances. Admiral, that is because we never stopped using things that work while we develop new things that work better. Our Marines still carry rifles because sometimes you need to put a bullet in something. We also happen to have learned how to exist in 17 dimensions at the same time. Dr. Lisa Chang leaned forward, her scientific excitement obvious. Your bioships are amazing achievements, Admiral. The way you integrate living systems with mechanical components is very elegant. But you have been thinking inside the same box for so long that you never considered stepping outside it completely. This quantum manipulation, Admiral Zexthara asked, how did your species develop it so quickly? Captain Maria Santos smiled. We had a problem. Earth's population reached 12 billion people, and we needed to expand to the stars fast. Normal faster-than-light travel was too slow, so we asked our physicists to break the universe a little bit. Break the universe? The Admiral asked, confused. It is just an expression, Jake explained. We asked them to find ways around the rules of physics instead of working within them. It turns out the universe is much more flexible than most species assume. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez looked up from her communication station. Captain, we are receiving transmissions from 34 different alien governments. They are all requesting diplomatic contact with humanity. The Admiral's laugh was bitter. Word travels very fast in the galaxy. The Vorthan Empire has never lost an engagement in over 3 centuries. Now every species will want to know about the humans who defeated us without firing a shot. Actually, Commander Pete Sullivan interrupted with a grin, we fired about 63,000 rounds during the boarding operations. We just fired them through dimensional barriers so they did not hit anything. Why would you fire weapons if you were not trying to hit targets? Admiral Zexthara asked. Because it was fun, Sullivan replied honestly. And because we wanted to see if we could shoot through multiple dimensions at the same time. Dr. Ben Williams joined the conversation through a holographic display from the horizon. His excitement about the engagement had not decreased at all over the past 3 days. Admiral, your empire has been fighting the same way for centuries because it works against conventional enemies. But humanity has a saying. If something is not broken, break it anyway, and see if you can build something better. This is why your species is dangerous, Admiral Zexthara observed. You do not seek dominance through conventional power. You change the fundamental rules of reality itself. Jake stood and walked to the large window that showed the asteroid field where Vorthan and human ships now floated together peacefully. Admiral, humanity does not want to conquer the galaxy. We want to explore it, understand it, and probably redesign parts of it that seem inefficient. What do you want from the Vorthan Empire? Trade? Captain Santos replied immediately. Your biotechnology is fascinating. We would love to learn how you grow living starships. In exchange, we can show you some interesting things about quantum mechanics and applied impossibility. Admiral Zexthara was quiet for a long moment. The Galactic Council will not accept this change easily. Humanity has upset the balance of power that has existed for millennia. Then maybe it is time for a new balance, Jake suggested. One based on cooperation instead of conquest. As if his words had summoned them, Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, Captain, incoming transmission from Earth, Admiral Kate Henderson wants to speak with you. The main screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Henderson's weathered face. Behind her, Jake could see the busy activity of Earth Command's strategic center. Dozens of officers were working at various stations, and the large display screens showed star maps of the entire galaxy. Jake, Admiral Henderson began, I have been monitoring the engagement and the aftermath. Outstanding work by all 3 crews. Thank you, Admiral. There has been a significant development. The Galactic Council has issued a formal statement. They are inviting humanity to join as a full member species, with complete voting rights and territorial recognition. Admiral Zexthara's crystalline features showed surprise. The Council moves very quickly when faced with paradigm shifts. They clearly understand the implications of your technology. There is one condition, Admiral Henderson continued. They want a demonstration of human technology for the full assembly. They are requesting that you escort the Admiral's fleet to the Council chambers on Centauri Prime. Jake looked at his fellow captains, then at the Vorthan Admiral. What do you think, Admiral? Ready to show the galaxy what human escort services look like? The Admiral's laugh was like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Captain Morrison, I believe your species will change everything. The galaxy will never be the same. Captain Alex Turner's voice came over the radio from the Defiance. Jake, we are getting reports from our listening posts. Every major news network in the galaxy is covering this story. Some of the headlines are pretty amusing, such as, Jake asked, 3 human ships defeat Galactic Empire using math, Turner read. Vorthan fleet surrenders to physics lesson. Humans make reality optional. Doctor. Chang laughed. That last one is actually fairly accurate. Over the next few hours, more ships arrived at the Nexus Point, representatives from the Galactic Council, news crews from dozens of species, and military observers from every major empire in the galaxy. The small asteroid field had become the most watched location in known space. Admiral Zexthara received a private communication from the Vorthan High Command. After listening to the message, she turned to Jake with something that might have been relief on her alien features. Captain Morrison, I have received new orders. The Vorthan Empire officially requests a permanent alliance with humanity. We wish to learn your quantum technologies in exchange for sharing our bioengineering knowledge. That sounds like an excellent beginning, Jake replied. But we should probably start with smaller projects before we try to redesign the entire galaxy. Dr. Williams appeared on the holographic display again, practically vibrating with scientific enthusiasm. Captain, the quantum field interactions between our ships and theirs are creating some fascinating resonance patterns. With the Admirals? Permission, I would like to run some experiments. What kind of experiments? Admiral Zexthara asked cautiously. Nothing dangerous, Dr. Williams assured her. I want to see if we can create stable quantum entanglement between biomatter and artificial systems. It could lead to some very interesting hybrid technologies. The Admiral considered this. You wish to combine our living ships with your quantum manipulation abilities? Exactly. Imagine a bioship that could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, with adaptive armor that responds to quantum fluctuations. Jake held up his hand. Let us take this one step at a time. We just convinced the galaxy that humans are friendly. Neighbors, not conquerors. Let us not immediately start building superweapons. Admiral Henderson's voice came from the communication system. Jake, the Council has sent coordinates for the escort mission. You will be taking Admiral Zexthara's fleet to Centauri Prime for the formal demonstration. Understood, Admiral. When do we depart? As soon as possible. The entire galaxy is watching, and first impressions matter. Jake looked around the conference room at the mix of human and alien faces. 3 days ago, they had been preparing for battle. Now they were planning the first joint human-alien diplomatic mission in history. Admiral Zexthara, he said formally. The United Earth Fleet would be honored to escort the Vorthan Empire to the Galactic Council chambers. The Admiral stood and performed what appeared to be a formal bow. Captain Morrison, the Vorthan Empire accepts your escort. We are ready to learn what the future looks like when humans are involved. As the combined fleet prepared to depart for Centauri Prime, word continued to spread throughout the galaxy. The species that had defeated the Vorthan Empire without violence, that could make their ships exist in multiple realities simultaneously, that treated impossible physics like an interesting hobby, was about to take the galactic stage. And in the depths of space, human laughter echoed across quantum dimensions, a sound that had become synonymous with the impossible becoming routine. The galaxy was indeed about to change, and humanity was, leading the way with curiosity, friendship, and a complete disregard for the word impossible.